you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years,
The sickest NHL podcast. Brought to you by TCS Customs and Logistics. Moving pieces, delivering peace of mind. It's gonna be sick.
Right side, Murphy shooting, save a rebound on the view. Hey! Shoots and scores! Mario Lemieux and the Penguins lead 5-4, and you'd have to be here to believe it. Mario Lemieux has given the Penguins the lead.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. Jimmy Murphy, Pierre, McGuire, again live from West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street in Boston, right down the street from TD Garden as everybody gets ready for the USA-Canada Championship match at the Four Nations Faceoff. This place is starting to pack up. We're starting to see a lot of USA jerseys, a lot of Canada jerseys. It's good.
No,
It's the Canada jersey right there.
That's the only one.
I got my boys from Windsor, the Batten boys that are here down from Windsor in the back. But yeah, we'll be filtering in. But before we get into the Four Nations Face-Off talk here, Pierre, some sad news out of Pittsburgh. And I know a dear friend of yours, Mike Lang, the legendary play-by-play man for the Pittsburgh Penguins, passed away last night. And, you know, obviously, thanks to you and our good friend Kevin Stevens, I've gotten to know a lot of the Pittsburgh Penguins family and alumni. And my heart goes out to them, Pierre, but I know you were so close to him. Talk to us about your experience with Mike Lang.
Well, I got to smile. He wore this ring every day. That was the one he wore all the time. But the 91 ring, that was his first one. Michael was amazing, creative beyond belief, funny.
Uh-huh.
He could stay up really late at night. I did it with him a lot of times. And back in those days, coaches didn't have computers, so we used to have to make tapes, reel to reel. So you'd always listen to all the different play-by-play guys and color guys.
Right.
And in those days, Mike Lang and Paul Steigerwald were as good as there was in the league.
Yep.
You know, Rosen and Davidson were good in New York, and whomever was working in Montreal, because they had a bunch of different people on the French and the English side, they were good as well. But for the local broadcast, I'm not sure there was any. Michael Lang, you know, Michael motorcycle, or buy Sam a drink and get his dog one too. Like, oh, look out, Loretta. So we used to be on the road and say, "Who's Loretta, Mike?" You know, so I'm trying to smile. It's obviously was a tough night last night. I got the call and I found out about it. For me, I only have great memories of Mike. Yeah. Really good. Yep. And I want to celebrate his life. And the cool part is I got a call today from a bunch of the former Penguins. We're all going to Pittsburgh, or a lot of us are going to Pittsburgh tomorrow for Mario's.
That's right, the timing there, yeah.
So Mike didn't want a funeral and he didn't want a memorial. I'm sure there'll be a memorial, and it'll start tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that.
But by the gist I got from seeing a lot of the tributes that have been coming out since he passed, Pierre, in the last 12 hours, or 24 hours, it's more a celebration. And people want to celebrate what he did for the Pittsburgh Penguins, for the city of Pittsburgh, and hockey in general. And like you were just saying, those terms that he had, the euphemisms, would he ever be like, if you guys said you'd spend time on the road together, you know, out at the bar, or you're hanging out?
Never once.
So would he ever come up with them like that, or no?
That's out of the blue. No, I would never say anything about. Like, I said to him once, I'm not kidding. We were in Calgary. Rick Keogh and I went out with him. And Chico, I hope you're watching this. That was Rick Keogh's nickname. Yep. And we went out for a nice long afternoon into the evening. And it was a good dinner in Calgary. And I just looked right at him and said, "Mike, who's Loretta?" And he went, "I don't know, Loretta."
It just came to me.
It just came to me. And then all of a sudden it became almost like gospel that everybody knew who Loretta was.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew who Loretta was.
And it's, you know, it's amazing too, Pierre, when you have a legendary voice like that, and broadcasters, how they become synonymous with the faces of the franchise on the ice, right? Whether it's Mario Lemieux and then on to Sidney Crosby. I mean, how many goals of Mario's he called, or how many goals of Sid's, or even Jagger, or even Malkin. And I saw some of the dedications from them, and just like, he's part of their history. He's part of them and their mark in the hockey world as well.
I'm so happy you said it that way, Jimmy. So here's the deal. Back in those days when Yarmer was in the league, or Ronnie Francis was in the league, or Mario was in the league, or Paul Coffey was in the league, or Brian Trottier was in the league, Kevin Stevens in the league, Mark Recky's in the league, Rick Tockett's in the league, Joey Mullins. I'm giving you a murderer's row of a lineup.
Yeah.
Okay? We didn't charter.
Right.
We flew commercial. We'd all stay overnight. Everybody had to hang with one another.
Yep.
We were a family.
Yeah.
We were a wandering band of minstrels.
I love that.
That's what we were.
There you go.
And so you became, some guys liked other guys. Some guys didn't like guys.
Yeah.
That's just how it was.
Yep, I hear you.
But Mike was a guy that could bridge the gap because everybody liked Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody liked him.
He was great. I met him a couple times, and he was something else. I just love listening to his stories he would tell, too. So, yeah, we definitely send our condolences and our thoughts out to his family as well as the Pittsburgh Penguins family and to all fans out there that grew up listening to Mike broadcast those games. You know, he could call a great one tonight. Imagine if Sidney Crosby scores the game winner tonight. I was thinking in my head, Mike's voice going to that at the Four Nations, that would be something. And I'm sure Sid will be thinking of him as he takes the ice tonight.
I don't know about that. I'm going to be honest with you.
Because Sid's so focused.
Yeah. Sid's really, I don't know about that part. Sid probably thinking about him last night, maybe today, but going it, and I don't know about that.
Right.
That being said, Mike called a lot of Sid, well, all of Sid's.
Yeah.
Except for the last 4 years, he called every one of Sid's.
Amazing.
And, you know, look at it. Pittsburgh hadn't made the playoffs the last 2 years. Probably not going to make it again this year. So, you know, it's tough. The one thing I'll say about Mike, too, that it's really important for fans to know, he could have gone a lot of other places.
Yep.
He stayed in Pittsburgh. He is a Pittsburgh. Even though he's from California, he went to Sacramento State. He's a Pittsburgh guy. And trust me, he's a California guy, but he's a Pittsburgh guy. And so people that grew up in California know what I'm talking about. People that grew up and live in Pittsburgh, they know what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you, I think, you know, he's talking about all the tributes there. I think Marty Baron had the best one I saw. He said, I got beat like a rented mule plenty of times in Pittsburgh. Thanks a lot, Mike. You made those goals easier.
He didn't just talk about the goals either. He talked about defensemen sometimes, too. I just remember talking baseball with Mike, talking football with Mike, talking a lot of things with Mike, and he made you feel better at the end of a night.
Yeah.
He wasn't condescending or rude or arrogant. He's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get Phil Bork on next week. Phil was his partner for a very long time. Bubba could tell you a lot of good stories.
We've had him on before, and we had Steigerwald on last week, and Steigs, we're thinking you.
Yeah, I talked to Steigs this morning. Steigs going to meet me tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Beautiful.
In Pittsburgh with Mark Recchi and a few other guys.
Well, you tell the lads I say hello and enjoy yourself. We're going to enjoy ourselves here. Again, we're at West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street here in Boston. Come on by, and Pierre, the Sam Adams cold snaps are flowing again.
Right,
a lot of people drinking those down, and of course the Sun Cruisers as well. Very tasty. I did have one the other night. Very tasty stuff. And again, Sam Adams Cold Sun Cruisers, we thank you as well for sponsoring us here. We thank Johnny Caron as well and his amazing staff. Thanks to Trevor King for his help as well. But we've got a great lineup today. Player development coach John Lounsbury is going to be joining us here shortly, Pierre. He worked with the Panthers. He also worked with Adam Oates. And, you know, Pierre, Adam Oates runs that amazing player development school and power skating for NHL players have gone there. A lot of them train there in the summer. And, you know, as I was saying to John off air, and Trevor, it's amazing how, you know, when you started coaching, you didn't see any of that, but now it's everywhere. These camps and trainers over the summer period in the off season compared to the old days.
Well, you can't. If you don't do that, you're not making it. It's you can be really a good player. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think Adam got a lot of his stuff from his former coach at RPI, Mike Odessa, who got a lot of his stuff from Paul Vincent. I lived and worked with Adam at RPI Hockey School in the summers, so I kind of know, you know, what he's about, and obviously coached against him. And he was an amazing player. Yeah. Adam Oates was an amazing player, and you know, I think the biggest thing that you just touched on, all these players put so much time in, and it wasn't always like that.
No,
it wasn't always like that. Guys used to actually have jobs in the summer. They did, and now they don't. Obviously.
I remember Sean Thornton telling me he used to work in the steel mines in the off season. That was something. But yeah, it's amazing what they do to get in shape every summer. And then, of course, Kevin Paul DuPont, Hall of Fame puck scribe.
Legend.
From the Boston Globe. You've heard him here in the eye test before. He will be swinging by here to West End Johnny's to talk some Bruins and Four Nations Faceoff with us. Joe Haggerty, my good friend from Boston Sports Journal, will also be swinging by to talk some hockey here. And then at the end of the show, Pierre, we spent some great times last week up in McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street in Montreal. If you're in and around Montreal getting ready for the game, go over there to watch it. It's going to be packed. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And we are going to go live to Stu Ashton, the owner, who's going to give us a glimpse of what the atmosphere is like right before the game as we sign off here. Let's get into that game, though, Pierre. A lot of hype, but it's finally here. Some news that we don't know the situation. We have no idea whether it's a healthy scratch, an injury, or what. But I still think it's big news. Is that Kyle Connor apparently will not be in the USA lineup.
No. Don't say anything. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
The people that reported that backed off. Nobody knows. Game time decision. Don't go one way or the other. Game time decision.
If he isn't, what are they missing without him in the lineup?
Goal scoring.
And
goal
speed.
Scoring. No, Kreider. Yeah. You know what? I laugh. Please, if you're going to say that Chris Kreider can't skate.
I didn't say that.
No,
okay.
people are saying.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to say that, please watch games. Chris Kreider is one of the elite power skaters in the National Hockey League. Every single coach in the league will tell you that. Every defenseman in the league will tell you that. Just don't belittle his skating. There are other things you can belittle of his game, not the skating part.
I actually think when he's played in this tournament, he's been great.
Very good.
Yeah.
And the
he
other
looks
thing,
revitalized.
If Kyle Connor's not playing, we'll find out why.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Hello.
Got a good crew coming in here.
Yeah, great to see you guys. No. We're just talking about Chris right
As
now.
we speak about Chris Kreider, his mom just walks in right here. Amazing.
I swear.
Yes, we're live on air on the eye test. Yeah, going out over YouTube right now. Good timing.
Say hello.
The Kreiders are here at West End Johnny's.
See,
thank
you. You know what, Mrs. Kreider? You can tell everybody we have a relationship. There you go.
What's the timing on that? Huh?
That's amazing. So I just know this is a good story for everybody.
Go ahead.
Chris was going through a hard time in New York, and there were people that were beating him up on the air. And I texted her. I asked Chris for his mother's number, and I texted her and I said, "This isn't a fake. I'm Pierre McGuire. I work at NBC. I'd love to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I got your number from your son." And she goes, she texted me back right away. I was about to do the game. I said, "It's really me." I said, "Can we talk?" So I went on. I talked to her on the phone. I said, "I want you to know, like, I got a son. I've got a daughter. I have a mother. I played hockey. My brother played hockey. My other brother was a really good athlete. My sister was a high-end college athlete. I don't think it's nice when people talk badly about your children."
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to know, as somebody that's watched your son win a World Junior Gold Medal, watch your son play in a Stanley Cup final, I have unbelievable respect for your son. And I want you to know what a good person he is and what a good player he is.
Wow.
And she freaked out.
That's awesome.
And now here she is.
And now here she is, right as you say that.
And she goes, "Are you on the air?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we are."
We're talking about, we're praising your son.
I know. So that actually happened. And Mrs. Kreider, Mr. Kreider are right there.
Oh.
I watched Chris play at Andover, and he and Garnet Hathaway, who plays in Philadelphia, are line mates. Chris Kreider, you can say whatever you want about him. You can never say he's a bad person, and you can never say he's not a good player.
No.
Special man, special player, awesome leader.
And, he wears his heart on his sleeve here. That's what I like about him. He's definitely a leader. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
I like,
How about that story, though?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right as you're saying, I love the, early in the season, you got his back, too. You remember when all the trade rumors were coming out?
Well, I don't like the leaks. And if you're a hockey executive and you don't like what I have to say, come meet me. That's a bunch of poop.
Yeah, it wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair, and I don't like
especially for the time he's put in with the Rangers.
Bye, Mrs. Kreider.
And what he's given to that organization.
See you later. Yep, thank you.
And interestingly enough, he will be in my Betway picks today, but we'll get to that later.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in a time where if you leaked, you were fired.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of cool to leak. It's not cool to leak. It's bad to
Too much quid pro quo, I'm with you on that, Pierre. Look, I think he's had a good turn. I think he's done. I was really impressed. Speaking of the trade rooms, I loved how he weathered through that. The way he handled the questions, the tough questions when they were coming at him. Like you said, he's a true leader, and he improved his game after that. Like it's almost like he took that and used it as motivation, and he's bounced back. So I like what he's doing.
Is he the same player as he was 7 years ago? No, but who is?
He's still a good player.
Sid is.
Yeah.
But there are not a lot of guys. Like, Sid's a freak.
Yeah, exactly.
He is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a huge, Brian Leach, if you're watching this or somebody tells you, you know how much respect I have for you. Brian Leach wasn't the same player after 8 years in the league.
Yeah.
He was a great player, but he wasn't the same player.
No. When he came to Boston, he was not what he was with the Rangers.
When he went to Toronto, he wasn't. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, so these guys have a short shelf life.
Mm-hmm. Especially
the top end guys.
And when you play physical, too.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
All right, so let's get into this game, though, Pierre. Let's look at the goaltending side. Connor Hellebuyck first. A lot, the knock on him is that he hasn't delivered in big games and the big moments. I know this is not the Olympics. I know it's an artificial tournament, but right now it's in the spotlight.
Hi, guys.
A lot of those, some more Canadian fans stepping in.
Very nice
How you
to
doing,
see
guys?
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for coming down.
How are you? Nice to meet you. Take care. Enjoy yourselves.
So
See, we're the nice Americans.
yes, we are. And they were nice to us up in Montreal when we were at McLean's Public House
You know
on
what?
1420 Peel Street.
Stu, amazing.
Yep. So looking forward to Stu giving us a taste of the atmosphere up there. But Pierre, Connor Hellebuyck, is this, if he can win this game and really be part of, I'd say he doesn't necessarily have to steal it, but do his job and come up big, does that help him going down the stretch here and into the playoffs? And do you think it could help him finally win the big one in the playoffs?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
I'll answer every one of your questions.
Okay.
Yes. This is what I think Winnipeg wanted him to be part of this. Scotty O'Neill, his coach, wants him to be part of this. And I think America needs him to not just stand and deliver tonight, because goalie matchup's going to be important tonight, but they need him next year in the Olympics. And that's not a knock on Jake Ottinger.
Nope.
That's not a knock on Jeremy Swayman.
Nope.
Or whomever you think should be on that Olympic team. If America's going to win gold, they need goalie.
The knock on him lately, that his weakness is rebounds. Pierre, have you noticed that in this tournament so far or no?
So people will say that because it's convenient. In a tournament like this where the velocity on the shots are so much faster and the speed with which the players attack is so much quicker, more times than not, rebounds are going to be juicy.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's not – people say, well, how much different is it than the NHL? It's not a lot. Maybe it's this much.
But that much can make the difference. Yeah, it can make a difference.
So, this is just different, and you'll see. I think mentally this helps him.
Yep.
I think mentally.
And I have to credit the defensemen for the USA, though. In both games, the last two games, they've done a great job of clearing that out. I mean, they have really clogged up the middle.
Faber and Slavin have been really good.
And as we said, that's the big one there.
That's a big – and the guy that needs to step up for the United States is Hannafin.
Yep.
You know, and I know you guys went to the same high school, St. Sebastian's, but Noah's got to have a game.
Yep.
He does. He needs to have a game. Without McAvoy playing, Hannafin needs to have a game.
All right, let's look at the other side, Pierre. Jordan Binnington has been under a lot more scrutiny than Connor Hellebuyck. I'll tell you that.
Hi, guys.
I'll tell you that. I mean, anytime anyone says, well, the only reason Canada's having any problem, it's because of Binnington. Look, I'm not sold on that. I don't have a lot of issues with his games. Maybe let in one bad goal each game. But overall, like we've repeatedly said, his battle is always there, and he gets better as the game goes on.
So the one thing that the United States has to be really careful of, letting Jimmy, get into the game early by handling the puck.
There you go.
Don't let him handle the puck. So I would have, yesterday in practice, I know you're going to laugh at this, I would have gone D to the wing and around the glass. I would have made my guys D to the left wing, wired around the glass. D to the right wing, wired around the glass.
Right.
Standing still. Because I want my players to understand the importance of getting pucks in the glass. In this building in particular, because there are crazy Karens here off the stanchions.
Yep.
This is one of the few buildings in the league where there are a lot. This is where
we're not talking Joe Louis Arena, right?
Not those guys. So when the puck's in the glass, he's never coming out of the net.
Yeah.
But when the puck's on the boards, he's coming out.
You
So that's
got to eliminate that for him.
Eliminate that.
Yep.
Get him out of that part of it. That's when he's into it. He's active. He's better.
All right. Other keys up front for you when it comes to Canada? Who's got the big guys? Obviously, have to step up. But is there a sleeper player that you're looking at as a forward that could come up big in this game?
Marner.
Right now?
They need Marner. Marner had one big game. That's it. That's all. I know his role's changed, but I think Marner, especially the depth position, can produce offense. And Mitchell, like I watch him a lot, obviously, because I do a lot of work in Toronto. He's really good off the rush. And I think this could be a game where off the rush matters. Cycle opportunities for Canada is going to be hard because of the way the Americans play defense. But I think rush chances could matter. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think Marner can make a difference.
And how about a sleeper on the American side up front?
Oh, there are a lot. Trocheck, I think, is going to have to affect things on faceoffs.
Yeah.
I think Trocheck's got to be huge on faceoffs. I think I told you before. I think, when you look at it, Noah Hannafin's going to have to be a different. I think Noah Hannafin's got to have a huge game. I really do. And Austin hasn't delivered anything yet. Matthews.
Yeah, we don't always could be battling something. We have no idea. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He's here. He's playing.
He's here, and he's got to step up. I'm with you on
Everybody
that.
knows what the Kachucks are going to bring. I think everybody knows what Eichel's going to bring. Now Austin's got to bring something.
I'm with you on that. Pierre, as we see more fans coming in here, a mixture. I like it. We got USA, we got Canada. It's a good mixture here. Maybe we'll get some kids going back.
We don't have any tables left. Johnny, there are no tables left.
Johnny Caron is right here. He said everything's reserved. So get in here. If you want it, you're going to have to sit at the bar or stand by the bar if you want to come now, because a lot of tables here are reserved. But that's great. We're happy to see Johnny do well. And listen, Pierre, we've only known John a short time now, but he's one of these guys, like I said to you the other day, it's like you feel like you've known him forever. He's just that type of guy, right?
I've been here since 11:30 this morning, and I sat with Johnny for probably 4 hours.
Yeah.
Awesome. We didn't talk about hockey at all.
No, just life.
Life.
I love it.
We talked about Airbnbs. We talked about beaches in Maine. We talked about South Carolina. Talked about baseball. Talked about the Olympics, the upcoming Olympics in Milan and Cortina. Trying to think what else. We talked about the neighborhood.
Yep.
We talked about parking prices. That's really amazing. We never talked about hockey.
That's amazing. And then you went down and you did your TSN 690 interview.
So they have a great room here called the Blue Room.
Okay, is that what you did?
I did in the
awesome.
Blue Room.
Great stuff.
And it is a special spot.
Nice.
And if you ever come to West End Johnny's, you got to say, please allow me to see the Blue Room.
All right, perfect. And what about the president's room in the back on the main
show
floor?
here from there last week.
Good stuff.
The president's room is cool. They call that the Red Room.
The Red Room. And it's got the carpet is from the White House?
White House. It's from the
Oval Office. Wow. Amazing stuff in there. Highly urge everybody to come down here, even if it's not tonight. If you're in the Boston area, ever come check out West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street. Pierre, we're going to bring on our first guest right now. And you're going to get to go say hi to Johnny and enjoy your Sam Adams cold snap.
Right here.
Okay, that's the prop one. Okay. Come on in, John. John Lounsbury joining me here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network, live from West End Johnny's. How you doing?
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Likewise.
How excited are you for this event? Are you going into the game?
Going into the game.
Nice. How long have you had tickets?
Not long.
Okay.
Not long.
Yeah, it cost you a mortgage or what?
No.
Okay.
You got
a little hookup?
But it's you gotta go. I mean, it's one of those things where it's best on best.
Yeah.
2010 was the last time we saw this, really?
No, well, I mean, they had the World Cup in 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah. I was thinking was it 2010 the golden goal of Crosby?
Yes, that was and Pierre called that goal. He was right there on the ice.
So it's you get to see the best players in the world.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You can't pass it up.
Yeah. So tell our listeners a little bit about your background. I know you worked with Adam Oates, as we were saying, but a little more about your background.
Yeah. Fortunate enough to play for a bit of time. It wasn't an illustrious career. I played. I was a Division III player, and from there I continued on in the minor leagues, and then I coached, and fortunate to run into some good people, and worked for Adam for a bit, and best in the world at what he does. No questions asked, and he's a wonderful guy, and owe him a lot to where I am today, and now I'm on my own, and have about 20 guys in the NHL that I work with, and then some amateurs, which is American League guys and college guys.
And what's the name of the company?
It's myself.
Oh, it's just you. Okay, wow.
I don't advertise. It's kind of word of mouth. Right? So it's like you do right by your clients, and they kind of continue to bring you more.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's good. I mean, I've been lucky in the hockey world. Listen, it's we all grew up in Winthrop. Mike Ruzioni, we all know the story, but it's like we look up to those guys, and it's become a part of my life, and here I am now. So,
and where did you play for school?
I went to University of Southern Maine.
Okay,
and then you know what? I didn't come from a hockey family. Wasn't like I played hockey in hockey season. Nothing. I played the other sports during the other sports, and I just when I was older, I got good.
Nice.
And I just kind of continued from there. So I was lucky.
So talk to us about what it was like working with Adam, and just what he does in those camps.
You know what? Like clients seek him out for hire for a year.
Okay.
Right? So when you work with Adam, you work with him for a year, and he's just the details of the game and how guys play it. I mean, he's got the best players in the world for a reason. I mean, he was one of them.
Yeah.
Right at the time. So it's just the way he looks at the game, the way he analyzes it. There's a lot to learn, and every day there's something else. There's something happens in every game where you can learn from, and how do we fix that? So that's a big part.
you know, when you were, I mean, you look about my age. I don't know. You don't have to say your age on air, but I'm just saying when we were growing up,
Yeah.
you know, you didn't have these options for
No.
players. You know, it's so different now. Like Pierre and I were just talking about, guys didn't really train like that in the off season. What has it been like watching sort of the advent of off season training and power skating or development?
It's way different. I didn't either, right? So
Yeah.
the rinks were closed. So we'd go out and play ball hockey or it was baseball season.
Yeah, because the MDC rinks would shut down.
Yeah,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
And Winthrop did too, right?
Yep.
So it's just like it's been a huge change.
Mhm.
I think it's too much at the younger levels, like the youth. 'cause
You
I have
read my
kids.
mind. I was going to go to that next
Yeah,
question. Is it too
so
much
we'll
sometimes?
take that, yeah. And then you know what? When you're getting paid to play the game, it's part of it. It's your job. So you have to get better because we all want to make more money.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you don't perform, your contract stays the same. Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we get 1% better to
Mm-hmm.
be able to go out there and make an extra play and really analyze? And I always say when I work with the older guys, it's as in the pros, they've gone 8 months of hard, like
Right.
practices, travel, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So let's work
Especially
on,
if they go deep in the playoffs. It's
so let's
insane.
work on the nuances.
Yep.
What are the plays they're missing out on? Let's work on those, right? So that's
How you know, these guys are professionals. They're paid millions and millions of dollars. One would think maybe, you know, they come in, well, I already know how to do that. I already knew that. Have you been surprised at how humble they are in that sense?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun for me.
Right.
You study the game.
It'd be hard to do your job if they weren't.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have to, like, it's the eye test,
They-
right?
Yeah.
So when I can do something and they can't,
Uh-huh.
it
That
makes
helps.
it fun.
Yep.
Because it's like, you know, I
It's a challenge.
played in
Then.
the minors, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making $5
Hey,
million.
you still did.
Right, but that's
Yep.
but you're making $5 million.
Yep.
How come you can't do this? So that's the joke, right? So we get them, and they have to trust you. If you can give them a piece of information they can get better on, you got them.
Yep.
And then it's how do you continue to get them better, and you continue to build on them and go with them. So it's like it's stressful at times because you're looking at performance.
Right.
They got to perform, right?
Yeah.
And when guys are underperforming,
Uh-huh.
why?
Yeah.
How can we figure that out?
Right.
But I would think the training's way different now. We didn't have the gym like they do now, like Mike Boyle,
Mm-hmm.
the best in the business, but
Yeah.
like Mike was the guy. Now it's like they're everywhere.
Right.
There's a million Mikes, but not Mike. Like Mike is, and still in my opinion, he's the pinnacle of this whole industry.
Yeah.
You know?
When you you work with a player all summer, right? In the
Yep.
off season, and then you're watching him in a game. Does it feel good when you mentioned the word nuances, when you see a little nuance that you helped improve that maybe the common eye isn't catching, the common fan isn't catching? How much are you noticing those little things?
It's how you watch the game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's even better when it says, like, a guy will text you after the game, like, hey,
Did you notice that?
you notice that?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they see
yeah.
it, they pick up on it, or I'll send them a clip of the video and they'll say, I knew this was coming. I missed this opportunity,
Yep.
but you got to get them to think
Right,
that way and
right.
just kind of go. And it's, you know what, it's hard. It's like when a team, like, we're all Boston fans, regardless of how many guys I have around the league, like, we're all Bruins fans, and it's like, you know, these people are underperforming. Yeah, it's part of it, but it's like, it's a matter of an inch.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yep.
just like, how do we get these guys back to where they are? And there's all different reasons for it.
Yeah.
Right? It's just kind of,
How impressed have you been? You know, I'm thinking, so I'm 50. I grew up, it's Canadian players dominated U.S. all the time, whether it was, you know, at our age level when we were younger in the NHL, the AHL, whatever. Now it's like, U.S. has arrived. I mean, big time. And that's an understatement. How impressed have you been to see the development of U.S. hockey?
it's nice. It's humbling, right? It's
Yeah.
like you get, you know, you're really taking the next level of players and bringing them to somewhere where you can showcase them.
Uh-huh.
And no one thinks of the Americans this way. You know, it's like you have your miracle moments, which is great. And now you've arrived where you have the Jack Hugheses and Jack Eichel.
Yep.
Right? Top 5 player in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just hard to say that, but he's
Austin Matthews.
Austin
Yeah,
Matthews,
yeah,
another
it's
one,
insane.
right? It's like they're home, but even Jackson's a homegrown guy, but even Austin coming from Arizona, it's like where the demographics have all changed.
Oh, it's
right?
amazing.
But it's just how these guys continue to like evolutionize the game, how it gets better, and how it's so fun to watch.
Because I remember growing up watching like the Olympics, and my dad would be like, well, if the Americans can somehow pull out a bronze, we'll be happy, you know? Now it's like if they don't win gold, they're pissed off. I mean, they're supposed to win the gold, and it's amazing how far that's come there. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's the
mindset.
The mindset. But when it was the 80 Olympics,
Yeah.
Mike Ruzione and Callahan,
That's why they called it a miracle.
Right, but
Yeah.
that was mindset.
Yeah.
Like they knew they had to go play a certain way, do certain things. I'm not taking anything away from those guys.
Right.
But where these guys are now skill wise, we're just as good, if not better, than than everyone else now, right?
Yep.
So it's like we've leveled the playing field on how we play the game.
Yeah, it's amazing. Quickly before we let you go, I noticed too you also did some coaching at Holy Cross.
I did with Dave Berard. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So I worked with David's kids. I still do, and great guys. And David gave me the opportunity to work alongside him, and it was just a great opportunity.
Pretty amazing how far college hockey's come too, huh?
Even every level.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
matter
cool.
what
Like
it is.
schools
So
that
much-
we never really thought of
Yep.
are now like competing for national championships. It's
And even like it's sad to see AIC go, but like Eric Lang.
what a job he did. You hear what he's doing too, and we're going to try and do something with him. He's going to create a portal showcase.
Yep.
I think in late April. So we're going to do something with that. But yeah, he's great.
Special
Good stuff.
guy, man.
Hey,
Special
listen,
guy.
you are too, my man. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
joining us.
much
We
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
I
We'll
appreciate
be in
it.
touch, all right?
Look forward to it.
All right,
Thanks.
John Lonsberry joining us here on the Eye Test. Jimmy Murphy live from West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street in Boston, right down the street from the Garden. Come on down if you're coming in for USA Canada night. Place is packing up. We got a little USA flavor, a little Canada flavor. The food is amazing. I just had the steak tips. Unreal. Highly suggested. Great mashed potatoes to go along with it. Pierre had the mac and cheese with meatballs. I didn't have it. It looked delicious. But great place here. Come on down again. 138 Portland Street. We are live right now. A gentleman that you might be familiar with, Bruins fans, and you've seen him here on the Eye Test before, is Hall of Fame hockey writer Kevin Paul DuPont joining us here from West End Johnny's. A little different type of event than we're used to. There you go, Kev.
We are.
Yep.
Yep.
How we doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
This is
I really wish I could have one of those.
I know, me too. I'm not allowed on the job though. I stay. I'm a good boy. Later on, post game for sure. I'll be back here at West End Johnny's. Everybody else should come back here too. Yeah, you might. Oh, nice call. You got it.
Good.
Dupes, this is a unique event. I know you've covered some Olympics. This is obviously not on par with the Olympics, but you know, I think we can agree the NHL has kind of exceeded expectations on how they pulled this off.
I would say far beyond expectations. It's been, I mean, ultimately, as any event does, it comes down to how it's played, not all the marketing and manufacturing and spirit and the rest of it. Stop here.
Pierre's the mayor here coming along.
So it comes down to, as you and Pierre are talking,
Okay.
it always comes down to quality of play. They can wrap it, they can call it what they want, but I've been extremely impressed by the effort. My concern going in, or I guess my cynicism going in, was
Right.
it's an 82-game season, as you know. Then it's followed by maybe 4 rounds, preceded by exhibition games. So in some cases, these guys are playing 100 times a year. That's not an exaggeration. Look at those Pittsburgh teams that won.
Right.
Those guys came out of those 2 wins looking really tired.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Same with Tampa. So my feeling was, okay, great. You know, I love hockey, so what the heck, doesn't matter to me. But I didn't anticipate they would play with this amount of passion.
On that note, though, we've got the Charlie McAvoy situation,
Yep.
which is getting quite messy right now. Look, I don't begin to know, and I'm trying to research. I'm trying to call people and find out what it is, what the protocol is. But I just find it surprising. From afar, it seems like there wasn't as much communication between the USA. Now, I could be wrong, but you just wonder how this happens where, you know, he plays a game, they clear him to play, and then he comes down with this infection, and then the Bruins are kind of saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't like the way this went down. What's been your take on that?
Well, there's too much unknown. From my part, there's too
Yeah,
much
me
unknown.
too.
So, yes, he gets hurt in the Finland game. He plays an exceptional game against Canada.
Out of his mind. Probably one of the best games I've seen him play in his
Yeah.
career.
In fact, it left me saying or thinking, how come we don't see more?
Right.
from him? Now, again, it's different. I mean, it's Canada, it's U.S.
Yep.
It brings out
And
passion.
he's had a knack throughout. When he was in World Juniors, it was his favorite moment still to this
Yep.
day. So, yeah, he gets up for those. But
So there's a whole, it's a very complex puzzle. It's one thing to be the fan in the stands thinking, I want these guys to lay it out every night. It's just not possible.
No.
It's just not. Some of these they talk about scheduled losses,
Yep.
back-to-back games. So I don't know. The missing parts here are we really don't know the nature or the exact spot of the infection that Charlie McAvoy has in his shoulder. We don't know if it's related to a cut that might have happened. We all think it's the Yoel Armia hit. Cross-check
Yes.
dumped him into the
Yeah.
net. So did he get cut there? That's kind of unlikely because they wear padding. You would think what this is, and this is all a guess. It's a product of getting an injection post game, and either anytime you go for a shot, they swab your arm with alcohol, they hit you with a needle, you walk out. Well, the places that can break down are you swabbed properly? Is the needle clean?
Right.
Is the drug clean? There's a lot in that.
And we all know.
My hunch, total hunch is it's somewhere in that he got an injection. It's somewhere in the injection process.
And we all know. I mean, you go down on the bench. There's a lot of germs down there, and it's a lot of stuff that can happen there. So, but I'm with you.
The biggest concern here. I mean, we don't know the state of the injury, the orthopods, right?
Yeah.
Just what the state of that joint is. Now, it's the joint where the collarbone meets high to the shoulder blade.
Yep.
That in itself could put you out for the rest of the season.
Right.
Infections can lead to deterioration of cartilage, deterioration of muscle, of bone.
Do you remember when Joe Thornton got the staph infection?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember that? And it just kept going and going. And
staph can kill you.
Yeah.
And an infection can really out of my league here, but infections can get in your bloodstream and get in your heart, and then you got a real mess.
Yeah.
So they've got to be really cautious about this. As Mike Sullivan this morning, he said Charlie's doing much better, disappointed, but feeling a lot better.
Right.
So I'll be curious tonight, Murph, if he makes it here.
Right.
Obviously not playing, but will he be here as some sort of inspiration?
So getting to going forward with the Bruins. I mean, it looks like for at least a little while they'll be missing him. This is a team that's barely hanging on right now for a playoff spot. They're probably very excited coming into this tournament because they say, hey, at the end of this, we're getting Hampus Lindholm back probably within a few games after it. Now, all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, we're trading McAvoy out. If he's, let's just say he's out for 2 weeks, can this team survive that in this race as tight as it is?
I would say not.
I don't think so either.
If he's out 2 weeks, and I was at practice yesterday, and we were asking about Hampus, and there's no date on Hampus either. He's not practicing with the team yet, skating on his own. It's 100 days now, Murph. Yeah. That's, quick math. What is that? 10, 14 weeks. Yeah. I don't think anybody envisioned he'd be out this long.
No.
But again, don't know the nature of the injury. They don't tell us. We're assuming it's a fractured kneecap, and they do take time. So I would say, as any team in the league, you take out their two top defensemen, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's not a team that, as we well know, has scored much.
No.
Back end or front end. Certainly with Charlie in there, with Hampus in there, if they're both close to where they can play, they can add to the offense. Not their main job, but they do have a history of scoring some goals. That would help. But right now, this is a team that really can't score and also has had a pretty hard time defending, too.
Yeah. So that being said, you're Don Sweeney. We're less than a month away from the trade deadline. They've hinted that they would take possibly dual pass, being sellers and buyers, hybrid buyers, whatever you want to call it, hybrid sellers. I'm looking at I'm looking at it as if I'm Don Sweeney and both these guys are out when they come back, I'm selling. I mean, I don't see the point in going all in right now and risking. They need to replenish the system. I just don't see the point in going all in it right now, dude.
Well, even if these guys are healthy, I would ask Murph, what do they have as trade assets to go get? Right?
Yeah.
They've made some honest stabs here, as we know, going back to the Nash deal.
Yep.
Going back to Orloff and Bertuzzi, and they were good, prudent deals.
Yeah.
But the minors, they don't have much in the minors that's coming up. I mean, we're waiting for Merkaloff. We're waiting for Lizell. At some point, you begin to wonder,
is that ever going to happen?
Is ever going to see? So there's not much coming from underneath. I don't see that they have the assets to go out and get players. That if you take this team as presently constructed, I don't see that it's a team that's ready to make a run.
Yeah, I mean, one of our listeners and viewers right now is saying, don't forget about Lowry. I don't think that's a guy they want to let go, though, because they're looking at their defense saying, hey, who knows what can happen going forward. We need to keep the young guy.
Yeah. He's a fun product, Lowry. As you know, he grew up as a forward.
Yep.
There are many nights he looks like he's still a forward. So he's got a long way to go. I shouldn't say that because he's got great leg speed.
Mm-hmm.
He does have what I love Of course, this gets coached out of so many of these guys. He does have an attack mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's why you're out there.
Yeah.
At least when you're on that side of the sheet. So there's a lot of good in there, but is he going to bring back a lot? No, I don't see that anybody that they can trade just based contractually that they can trade that's going to bring a whole lot back that you'd really get excited. And there's always the chance, right?
Yep.
They got Rick Middleton once. They got Cam Neely once.
Yeah.
But those things come along very rarely.
Yeah. I'm with you. I mean, I want him to keep attacking. I like his game. I mean, obviously he could be better a little more defensively, but I like it. But the way here's my final question for you, dudes. The direction his team's going in terms of what their identity is right now, I don't know what it is. And I look at Joe Sacco comes in. He's quite the opposite of Jim Montgomery in terms of offensive. He seems to be more reserved. You want to play a strict defensive game. And you look at the roster, where do they want to go? Like, do you see Sacco making it past this season with this team if they were to not make the playoffs?
Well, there's a lot on that bone. I don't know. Yeah, I think of the changes they've made, right? They went from Julian, who was very conservative. They opened it up with Cassidy. I thought Cassidy had them playing really well. I don't know why he was fired, but that's another issue. Montgomery, it wasn't a one-trick pony, but it was one method. And when it came time, as we saw in the playoffs, when it came time, this is sort of like Bruce Boudreau. When it came time to develop a plan B, there wasn't much of a plan B. Plan B was my goalies have to play better. But there's somewhere in between that with Sacco. So my guess is just going by, common sense here is if he misses, they'll turn to somebody else.
Yeah.
But again, they got to be honest about this roster.
That's what I'm saying.
Where you introduce this question, what's their identity?
And who's the coach to fit it? That's what I'm trying to get at is like.
And who's the coach to fit it? Is Charlie McAvoy going to step up and be a bona fide?
Like we saw in that one game against Canada, yeah.
Yeah, can he be the next Bork, right? Nobody's the next Chara. Probably no one's the next Bork. No one's the next Orr. Some of that is asking too much, but he's got to be more than he has been.
Yep.
And I was excited that he was really, at least in that one game, he delivered 4 hits. 3 of them were beauties. 2 on McDavid, 1 on Sidney. If he could get that confidence and be more of that physical player, it would be easier to tolerate the fact that he's such an unwilling shooter.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, you get a little glimpse where he looks like he's shot ready and he's taken 5 shots in a game and you say, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And now
it goes away. Yeah.
So, again, how many Drew Doughties are there who are doing both? Brett Burns doing both.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big job. It's a big position. The thing about him is he has the skill.
Yeah. Do you think he has it in him to be the power play quarterback, though? Because he seems so uncomfortable in that position.
Yeah. To date, no. I can't say.
Yeah.
And, it's 500 games in now.
Right. So at what point did the Bruins say, okay, he isn't that. Let's get somebody who is and put him in a different spot in the power play? Right. I mean, like we know the definition of insanity. It's just like over and over. They keep trying this.
Right.
And it's just not working. It's he can still be a great player and contribute, but maybe that's just not his forte.
I know I sound like the dinosaur of dinosaurs now for a reason. But I would at least try making Charlie one of 2 defensemen on the power play. No one's going with the 2 defensemen. People think that's forever. That didn't change until Bruce Cassidy with this team. Yeah. Until Bruce Cassidy finally tried it and got good luck with it. And it's been a 4-forward power play ever since. So what I've been thinking is
Lindholm.
Maybe Lindholm and Charlie. And Charlie loses the idea of my main job out here is to block plays if they go the other way.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone reliable out there with him and you say, Charlie, when the chance is there, shoot. Shoot.
And if not, pinch.
Yeah. And if it goes the other way, that's on the other guy.
Okay.
So that may be too simplistic because I think there are more reasons why Charlie doesn't shoot. And I think the more reasons are this is the way he's been wired since he's been aged 10 or 12. Mm-hmm. And that sounds almost corny, but sometimes your thumbprint is your thumbprint.
Yep, I got you on that. Before I let you go, Dupes, we were talking off the top of the show. Legendary Mike Lange passed away. Any thoughts on that? Your memories of him? Did you ever have any encounters over the years?
Yes. And even though we've seen Pittsburgh a lot through the years, and I saw a lot of Mike Lang, is that, as you well know, the print guys they're separate from the broadcast guys.
Right.
So I know him from just being a very nice guy in the press room. We would trade things about, what's up with the team.
Yeah.
The standard stuff you go through. So you can say, I talked to a Penguins insider. but what he was always great about was sharing stuff, good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And just, the Boston crowd wouldn't have heard it a lot, but the catchphrases of Elvis has just left the building, scratch your back with a hacksaw, and, wreck the still in the backyard, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And
I loved it too.
The way the league has gone, especially the last 10 to 15 years, it really mutes a lot of personalities.
The local broadcast, yeah.
Look,
like Rick Johnert's gone. He's gone now. Jack is gone.
Right.
It's just starting to feel old, dupes.
Yeah. Well, at least you're fortunate you're not old.
Dupes, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Great to be
Kevin Paul
here.
DuPont, join us here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. We are live from West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street. We'll see you in the rink, dupes. I'll be heading up to the game after this. Right around 7 o'clock, we're going here. Bar is packing up. I see majority USA so far, but there's some scattered Canadian jerseys. So don't be afraid to come in here if you're watching right now or listening and you're a Canadian fan. Come on down. You can represent. Johnny, the owner, will not kick you out. He takes in Canadians. Don't worry. And even though your dollar's weak, it's still good here. Don't you worry. We're going to try and get my co-host over here. The mayor, Pierre McGuire, over there is talking quickly. But we will be joined later, we're hoping, by our good friend Joe Haggerty of Boston Sports Journal. We were supposed to get Bob Sweeney. He had to go. But I'm looking at some of your comments right now. Dupes, when you go over there, can you tell Pierre we're ready for him? Thanks, my friend. While we're waiting for Pierre, why don't we pull up a couple questions? We'll get to those right now if we got a few. What do we got? All right, what's up, Alex? Alex Ivanovsky, do you think tonight and next year the best two chances USA hockey has to dethrone Canada? Just looking at the up-and-coming draft, it looks like the best players are Canadian. Great point by you, Alex, and yes, I do. I think this is their window. This is a game I think they need to win. I think overall, in terms of development, as we were saying earlier, with John, we've established ourselves. United States has arrived, but I do think this is a pivotal moment for them, as will be the Olympics next year. Good question. We'll take one more here, and Pierre's on his way over. We'll get back to talking to him. Varden's Parlor. Why isn't Tage Thompson playing? 6'7" with range and goal-scoring touch? Your guess is as good as mine. Pierre and I both agreed he should have been playing. Good point by you. All right, we'll get back to that later. Pierre McGuire, how are we doing, my friend? Looks like you had a lot of good people around here.
Oh, my gosh. I got NBC. I got Turner Sports. I got Amazon. I got NHL people. Bobby Sweeney, who had to leave. Swoop, the nickname Swoop.
He
out of
swooped right out.
He swooped right out. Scotty Young, the great Scotty Young's
we saw Scotty in Belfast, remember?
We did. So, yeah, I've been busy.
Nice.
I'm America's guest.
I love it. Well, you're a dual citizen, though, my friend. You're definitely right down the middle now, even though it's Canada's your roots, but you're American, too.
I'm a dual.
Speaking of the Americans, Dupes and I got into a very good conversation about Charlie McAvoy and just where they. Well, the thing was, we both agreed at what point do maybe the Bruins decide he's not the power play quarterback and find a different role for him on that power play. But at the same time, okay, who takes that role? Do they have the guy yet to do that? Where, you sort of let Charlie roam free, and if he's the guy that can pinch or take that chance, and if the puck goes the other way, don't worry, the other guy's got it. Do they have that guy yet? We said maybe Lindholm, but we don't know. So just your take on that.
Well, pinching and running a power play are two different things. Charlie can be a good pinch guy. Running a power play is not that easy.
No. And it's not knocking him that we're saying. It's just maybe that's not his forte. That's all.
Look, if I were running a team tomorrow, I'd have Charlie McAvoy on my team.
Oh, yeah, I know you would. I remember talking
to you. I think highly of him. I don't know. I think the Bruins have bigger issues than that.
Yeah.
Starting at center.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
So
And we brought that up too. You know, we were talking about the trade deadline coming up.
I'm more curious as to what's the Bruins' take on McAvoy after you and I talked about it. And what's the Bruins' take on McAvoy getting hurt in this event?
Well, all we know is what we've seen in the news is that they're not happy. We don't have any other details other than that. We don't know where the infection is exactly. So I'm not going to really comment further on that, but by all accounts, it seems like they're not happy. And what might happen after that, you know? Where do they go from here?
See, this is so cool. The wait staff just come over and go, my table wants to buy you guys a round of beer. Okay. I didn't write it.
No, it is being a good boy. Look at what's in front of him.
Water.
But you know what should be in front of you, whether you're here at West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street, or wherever you are watching the game tonight, Samuel Adams, Cold Snap, or a Sun Cruiser, or both. Who knows? Mix it up. Everybody gets their own taste. But I've heard these Cold Snaps. I can't have them, but I heard they're great. And I have tried the Sun Cruisers. They're great. But back to the Bruins. I'm with you on that. Another thing we talked about is let's say they have to start the first week or two back from this, from the Four Nations Faceoff here without both Lindholm and McAvoy. There is no possible way. We agree. Dupes and I agree, and I think you will. There's no possible way you'd think Don Sweeney is going in as a seller at that point. I mean, as a buyer.
No.
Yeah.
They don't have the assets.
And that's what Dupes said. That was the key thing that Dupes said.
This is one thing that I'm very comfortable saying. The top end of the next three drafts should be very good. The top end.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of depth in the drafts. Just telling you. So you got to be really careful. And we're going to have expansion. Expansion's coming.
If you're a GM going into the deadline right now and you're negotiating trades and you're talking about you're a seller and you're trying to get first-round picks back, if you had the option of a 2025 first or a 2026 first, what are you taking?
Depends what number it is.
Okay.
I would prefer prospects that are already established.
Mm-hmm. But if that was your choice,
I'd say no. I wouldn't make a deal.
Okay. All right. Because from you've told me, you think 2026 will be stronger, right?
Oh, it will be, but it doesn't mean it's an elite draft.
Okay.
It's okay.
So you want something more immediate.
Things can change. But you got to remember now, factor in let's just say two expansion teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's more.
Right.
Let's just say two.
Okay.
Things change a lot.
So GMs considering that, you think?
Well, I think that's what their owners are telling them.
Uh-huh.
They need to know.
Right.
Board of
Because
Governors
it affects how you construct that roster going forward.
And what kind of assets you need to stockpile.
Yep.
What kind of cap space you need to have. I know everybody's talking about the cap magically going up. We'll see. Have you seen that well documented that it's for sure going up?
I've just seen what's been presented by the league and the PA.
100%.
But it doesn't fall in line with their revenue or TV ratings right now. So
we'll see.
I know.
I'll take them at their word.
All right.
But until it's done, it's not done.
Okay. We're coming out of this break right now. And like we said, we're less than a month away from the NHL trade deadline. I don't want any names of players. I know you don't do that. But give me two teams to watch as buyers and two teams to watch as sellers.
Buyers, Rangers.
Wow.
I think Colorado and Rangers, buyers. Sellers. I think Montreal could be a seller. I think Buffalo could be a seller.
Yeah.
I think Anaheim could be a seller.
Okay.
So I'm giving you more, but.
Yeah. I agree on all those sellers. The Rangers one I'm interested in.
I think they're going to buy.
Really?
Like,
despite.
They got to go all in.
Yeah. Because they were all in heading into the season.
Yeah.
And then just fell off a cliff.
That's another story, which is important for people to remember. It started with Jacob Trouba.
Mm-hmm.
Not
in the season.
In the offseason.
Yeah, right after the draft.
When it started.
Yep.
They can say whatever they want.
Yeah, I agree with you. It made an uncomfortable situation. I'm with you, though. I mean, you just signed Shesterkin into that contract. You didn't do that to win later.
Why would you do that if you weren't?
Exactly.
You put everything in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What about the New York Islanders? Are they a hybrid right now?
Too many injuries. They work hard. Patrick Roy has done a really good job there.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I didn't think by this point they'd even be sniffing the playoffs.
Patrick deserves a lot of credit. He's done a really good job. They just don't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they do with Brock Nelson. We'll see. But they don't have enough.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I kind of see them in a similar position as the Bruins there, where they really need to replenish the system, start to build towards the future. I look at another team, Pierre, that I'm interested in. I think they're going to be buyers for sure, and I think they can make some noise in the playoffs, and that's Billy Guerin's Minnesota Wild.
They can. They got to keep their guys healthy. They've been decimated by injury. You know, Kaprizov's got to come back healthy. They need to make sure Jared Spurgeon's healthy. They've had a lot. They've dealt with a lot. And Joel Eriksson-Ek, we saw how good he can be. Watch him in this event that we just had. But he's been hurt. Like, they've had a lot of guys hurt, a lot of injuries. They need their guys to stay healthy.
It's funny you bring up Ek. I heard you talking the other day on the radio. You think he ends up being the number one center for right? Oh, no, you said Leo Carlson, right, for Sweden?
Yeah, Leo.
And then Ek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Leo Carlson.
Who, by the way, will be here in Boston on Saturday.
Yeah, at the Olympics.
He's
Leo
coming.
Carlson's going to be really good.
I'm with you.
I know he
has a good agent, too.
Yeah, his agent's Matt Cater. But I watched him really close in the games that he played, and he didn't do anything points-wise. But when you watch him, he's really good.
I'm just bouncing around here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, just
I don't mind.
freestyling, all right? Calgary Flames.
What about him?
Heading into deadline, what are they? Hybrids? Are they sellers, buyers? I'll tell you one thing I'd be buying would be a guy that's already on their team, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
Who, Rasmus Anderson? Yes. Well, I don't know if they're going to keep him or not. You know, I think the biggest thing there is you got a decision on Kadri. You got a decision on Rasmus. I'm not saying Mackenzie Weegar is getting traded because I don't think he is, but he's got massive value if you were to put him out there. It's an interesting team. Craig Conroy deserves a lot of credit. A lot of people didn't think he'd do very well as a GM. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
He's done a good job.
They're interesting too. Like, they're one of these teams, Pierre, I always wonder how a GM handles it, where you think you're in a rebuild or retool, whatever you want to call it, and then all of a sudden your team really exceeds expectations. Like when we were talking to Jeff Gorton back in January, I guess, and the Habs are on that roll. It's how do you keep your eye on the goal and not get diverted by the present? It's a tough job, right? Because you got the buzz building amongst the fan base. It's building probably within your dressing room. They're starting to say, wait a minute, we might have a chance at the playoffs. If you're a GM, how do you sort of reward the present and the future there?
You just have to see where your team is realistically. You want guys in your room that say, we're not good, not your players, your management people. Yeah, we're good enough. No, we're not good enough. And then you weigh the opinion. At the end of it, you're the decision maker. Craig Patrick was so good at that when I worked for him. Brian Burke was really good at that. Like, they were decision makers.
Yeah. I didn't realize yesterday. I saw it today. A tweet from yesterday came up, and I was thinking yesterday was the anniversary of the yesterday was the anniversary of the Recchi Tocchet trade.
Was it?
And I know you're like, I know you hated to see Rex go, but you think that is one of the most crucial trades an organization made.
It was, because we traded away 2 Hall of Famers in Recchi and Coffey for Shel Samuelson, Kenny Reagan, and Rick Tocchet. Those other 3 guys we got back, they weren't Hall of Fame players. They were really important. That was the art of team building. Scotty Bowman was in the room, and I'm letting a cat out of the bag, and he's watching now. He's the one guy that asks a really pertinent question. If we don't win this trade, are we built well enough to overcome the PR backlash? And everybody said yes, because we had Mario, we had Yarmer, we had Ronnie, we had Larry, we had Joey. We had a lot of good players. Kevin.
Yep.
Barrasso.
Yep.
Brian, Trotche. We had a lot of – all those guys I just said are Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
We had a lot of artillery. So we all said, yeah, we do. And that's when Scotty looked at Craig and said, then I do the deal. But he wanted everybody to have to answer the question. If it doesn't work, do we have enough to overcome what we just did?
Yeah, right.
The answer was yes.
When you're working with the team, when they came to you and they're thinking about it, did it take you by surprise, or were you kind of like, no, I see what Craig sees here and how this could help us?
We were all in on that. There was no surprise. Everybody, that was That didn't just happen. That was
I mean, you don't see trades like that anymore, obviously, because of the cap.
that was in the making for a
but
while.
that was a hockey trade.
Yeah, it was. The year before, Craig was magic. You got Ronnie Francis, Ulf Samuelson, and Grant Jennings.
Uh-huh.
You know, for the late Johnny Zalapsky, who was a good player, Johnny Cullen, who was a good player, and then Jeff Parker from Michigan State, who never played.
Yep.
And there was actually an NHL executive who was quoted in the newspaper saying Hartford won the trade because they got Jeff Parker.
Wow. Interesting. Going back to the Recchi Taka trade, though, you know, sometimes people forget Samuelson and what he meant to that deal and what he did for you, because he's not the flashy guy, but he's that type of guy you need in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know. I ran the defense there, and when I needed a stop or we needed a stop, Alfie was on the ice all the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
just calming him down sometimes was he was possessed on the ice.
Yeah. Well,
He was as tough as there was.
Fans in this city remember him.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy. Everybody thought that he was this big, strap-in Viking Swede. He wasn't that big, but he was strapping and he was strong.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as big as everybody thought. And for him to play the way he played, fearless, absolutely fearless.
I want to remind everybody we are here at West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street in Boston. Come on down, drink some Sam Adams Cold Snaps or the Sun Cruisers. Great crowd here. As we told you before, probably the best sports memorabilia around of any pub in Boston, and all sorts of stuff, not just sports, politics, history of Boston. I'm looking at a sign right now, the Castanetti brothers. It was a clothes store where a lot of the athletes around here used to go to get their suits fitted and tailored. It was very popular among the old athletes back in the Bobby Orr days here in Boston. So come on down here, West End Johnny's. We had amazing meals before. I was telling them about the steak tips. How was that mac and cheese, Pierre?
The meatballs and mac and cheese are good.
Everything's made fresh
I'm not
here.
supposed to talk about what I eat. My wife's going to kick my butt.
It was the Weight Watchers one, wasn't it? All right, we're getting back to the Four Nations face-off. Everybody's excited about this game, USA-Canada. You know, one of the questions, we took like one or two questions while you were over there, Pierre, as Dupes got off, and one of the questions was, how defining a moment is this? It was from Alex Evanowski, by the way. How defining a moment is this game and next year's Olympics for U.S. hockey? Like, is this their window to really show they arrived? And I feel like saying they already did arrive, but I do think these are pivotal moments.
It's important. Anytime you play, it's important. I think the Olympics are bigger.
I agree. And I know that you're not happy that this is only 4 nations and there needs to be more nations. I think that is going to happen. What I'm interested in, though, is they go ahead and they plan that World Cup, which we discussed before, Pierre. How does the Charlie McAvoy situation affect the injury protocol going forward? Because as you said, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, nobody's saying that we don't want to see these guys lace up for their country and give it their all and play hurt. We all respect that. That's one of the things we love most about the game of hockey is how tough hockey players are. But at the same time, there are millions and millions of dollars invested in these players right now. And when an owner like Jeremy Jacobs sees one of, I think it's his second highest paid player right now, was it Pasternak? Yeah, second highest paid player, go down like that, and you don't know if he's gone for the season. We don't know what the prognosis is. That's going to play a role in how they plan their next World Cup event.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing right now. The late owner of the Ottawa Senators, Eugene Melnyk, I met with him a lot and I worked for him before he passed away. He's still angry that Dominic Hasek was hurt.
Oh, that's
going
right.
into the 06 playoffs because he really felt coming out of the lockout that they were going to win the cup.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, no Hasek.
Yeah, that was huge.
Think about it for a second. So they go to the final in 07. They get beaten 5 games by Anaheim.
By Anaheim. Man, it was on our podcast the other day.
Anaheim was just a better time. Yeah, Pronger, Niedermeyer, O'Donnell, Oshman. Like, you look at that defense. Ken Huskins, crazy defense. But so I knew that he was upset as an owner. He told me that.
Yep.
I know that the owners with the Islanders were mad after 2014 when Tavares broke his leg at the Olympics. I know other owners that have been very upset
Yeah.
with injury situations, insurance costs, tons of stuff, medical treatment, but having players play that are injured that probably shouldn't be playing.
Entertap here in the chat section, Pierre, is saying, what about having the tournament at the beginning of the year? Like they used to do with the old Canada Cup.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same.
Okay.
Because the pace, everybody's marveling at the pace of this.
Right. You can't capture that in September.
So there's 3 points. I've kept telling people this, and you got the first 20 games. Then you have U.S. Thanksgiving to almost a trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got from the trade deadline to the playoffs. There are 3 phases of an NHL season. A lot of it's based on conditioning and timing. We're in the 3rd phase now. That's where we are.
And that's where they really rev it up.
Like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
They won't play like this at the beginning. No chance.
Well, how did they get? But I mean, the Canada Cups.
If you go watch those tapes and then watch these tapes,
and the speed,
it's not even close.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. We might be joined. We're waiting to see if Joe Haggerty's going to join us here. Pierre, while we're waiting, do you want to do some Q&A?
Absolutely.
Because that is our favorite part of the show. We really enjoy it. We appreciate all our supporters, listeners, and viewers that chime in here. All right. What do we got in the Q&A section? Let's go. Postnet on 130 says snapshot. Carey Price, 2014, pre-Kreider injury. Would have Carey have been the difference given the chance for tonight, like a Connor Hellebuck?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I'm going on record. I don't think Chris Kreider did that on purpose.
Are you kidding me?
I know Canadians fans want to say that.
Let it go. Please stop the nonsense.
Enough of that.
Stop
All right.
it.
Love that outfit there. Yankee Doodle Dandy in the house here. All right, next question. We're on the ropes. Slav knows he has to shoot more. He knows. Why isn't he shooting, Pierre?
Got to move your feet to open up shooting opportunities. That's the biggest flaw in his game right now. He's got to move his feet with consistency. He coasts off the boards. He's got to drive off the boards. Big difference. That comes down to coaching and practice.
All right. Next question. Anthony Beauvais, will Brady play Saturday for the Sens? We don't know.
I have no idea, but he better.
Yeah, or then we're going to have another issue that we're talking about.
If he doesn't, I got to think ownership in Ottawa is going to be like, what? Why not?
Yeah.
We need these points.
Yep. Huge. Them in Detroit. I'm with you.
They're playing against Montreal on Saturday. They need the points.
Yep. I'm with you on that. All right, next question. Varden's Parlor. Why don't selling teams under the cap retain 100% of contracts to maximize draft capital back?
They do. What do you think Utah did in Arizona? Lots of teams do that. Tampa was doing it. Teams do that.
Yeah. Speaking of,
it's easy for. And what was the name of the person?
Pull that up again, guys. I don't know if you heard. We can pull that question up again. No? All right.
Okay. I didn't want to disrespect the person that asked the question because it's a fair question. So I wanted to attribute it by name. We're all the same. It's easy for us to question the financial commitment of owners and people in the league, but it's not my money. It's not your money. And this is a hard business. The margins are really slight right now, especially for Canadian-based teams. I don't think people realize that. This is a hard business. You go do a line item breakdown of a team's budget, you'd be mortified at the expense of the equipment, the travel expense.
Thank you for saying that, Pierre.
Expense, the hotel expense. What do you think it costs to put a 737 in the air for 2 hours?
A chartered one, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just telling you, this is a way people don't understand. We're not the NBA. We're not the NFL. We're not Major League Baseball. I'm just telling you, we're not.
All right. Oh, there was. It was Varden's Parlor that had that question.
Thank you. It's a good question.
Good question. All right, next question. Alex Ivanowski again. Charlie McAvoy reminds me so much of a young Ryan McDonough. I swear Rangers fans used to voice their displeasure the same way about Ryan. Fair comparison?
It's a very good one.
Yep.
One's a left shot, one's a right shot. McAvoy's a righty, McDonough's a lefty. Very similar skating styles. I think McDonough's better defensively than Charlie. I don't think Ryan's as physical as Charlie. I think Charlie's offense is more upside than Ryan's. One of the biggest mistakes Montreal ever made. Could you imagine And you know how mad I was.
Oh my gosh.
It's legendary tape.
I was driving over the border when you were on with Mel. I'll never forget that when that trade went down. That was one of those regrets for sure.
So you would have had McDonough on the left side and Subban on the right side for 10 years. Chances are you would have won a cup.
Think about that.
You would have won a cup.
Think about that. I agree. All right, next question. Peter August, how probable is it that the hero for tonight is a less highlighted player? Peter, that's a great question. It usually is sometimes, right? It's some guy we don't think of, maybe a bottom six forward.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Enjoy it. Thank you.
Hey, text me after. All right.
How about those guys from Windsor, Ontario?
The Batten boys. The Batten boys coming down from Windsor. Shout out to their older brother, Jay, who's one of my best friends. They actually just lost their dad, too, and I'm glad they're down there.
I heard the son talking about it.
Yeah, he's a good man, Dave Batten. That's a great question. It is usually the way, right?
I didn't hear the question.
So how likely will it be? It's like there's an unsung hero that scores that winning goal. It's a bottom six forward, a bottom pairing D-man.
Marner. I think Marner.
This team is a bottom guy.
I know, but Leaf fans don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I think Marner, if Canada wins, Marner's going to have an impact on this game. And I think, and I know you're not going to believe me, he's not going to equate to points. I think if U.S. wins, Vinny Trocheck's going to make a big difference in the faceoff circle.
That's huge.
So we'll see.
That's why he's here. That's why he's here.
We'll see how it plays out. We'll see.
I'll get to my guy that I think is going to make a huge difference on each side. All right, next question. Pierre, Mikey, and Chuck are my Pierre, Mikey, and Chuck are my Mount Rushmore. What was your favorite saying? Mine is either, "Oh, Malkin, make me a milkshake," or "Scratch my back with a hacksaw." Rest in peace, Mike Lang.
My favorite one? Well, there are a bunch of them, but buy Sam a drink and get his dog one too. And then Lord Stanley, give us the brandy. That was one for 92. I mean, Mike was
something. And I like that he put Chuck in there too. Chuck, if you're watching, we're thinking of you.
Oh, Charlie Caton, the best.
I was
he and Mike Lang. I talked to Chuck this morning. Chuck took Mike out for dinner probably 3 or 4 years ago down in Raleigh. And Chuck told me, he says, I knew he was in trouble, man. He was having a hard time. And for him to have lasted this long is amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
I got to tell you, Pierre, too. I actually forgot to tell you off air, but I'll tell you now. And, of course, I'm not going to remember the guy's name, but you might know by the description. So I met a gentleman the night you had to go home to watch Ryan play for Northeastern. So the Saturday night when we broadcast from McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street in Montreal, before I was going on, Stu Ashton introduced me to a longtime statistician who knew you. He's a statistician with the NHL. I don't want to murder his name. We'll get it from Stu. But he was telling me a story about
Dave Tabaroff?
No, something Mackey or Nacky. It'll come to me. Anyhow, he said he's seen you a couple times. He's been with you a couple times at Hall of Fame weekend. Okay. And he said one of his favorite memories was just sitting back, having a couple beers, and listening to you and Chuck Caton tell stories. Chuck must be great to just kick back with the stories he's got.
He's special. So, you spend a lot of time with guys on the road or in the car, late nights, early mornings.
Yeah.
Pissed off moods, good moods. That's when you find out if a guy's really your friend or not.
Yeah.
We had a lot of time together. I'd do anything for Chuck. He's like part of my family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's special.
Good stuff.
He's Hall of Fame weekend. I would just tell you this. If you get a chance to go and you really can navigate around and hang out with the guys and the ladies, by the way, Cassie Campbell-Pascal's on our committee. Cami Granado-Ferraro's on our committee. They're really smart women. They're great at their jobs. I would just say it's kind of cool to hear the stories.
Oh, my gosh.
Like hang out with Igor Larionov or hang out with Anders Hedberg or hang out with Ronnie Francis or hang out with Brian Burke or hang out with Mike Murphy.
Yeah.
There are only 18 of us, and everybody tries to be present. Everybody tries to be present.
Yeah.
And I don't go out. I just hang out in the lobby usually.
Yeah.
And just talk to people. I'm fascinated by the whole thing.
Pierre, we're telepathic. Yeah, we don't script this, but that was my next question. What is Hall of Fame weekend like? Because not a lot of people out there understand it. And even if you're I've experienced it twice, but, I went there as a reporter, but then at night I would go out and I would end up, there's a sports bar down by that Marriott there, down by the water. I can't think of the name of it, but I was down there when Larionov was there. Russ Conway was there, all these old writers and everything. And they open up. Like, it's a great weekend where people just open up and they take you inside the game and they give you their story, the stories on the road. Pierre's absolutely right. It's a great experience.
I'll never forget when Lanny McDonald called me
To be on the committee?
to be on the committee.
What an honor.
I won't forget that call.
Yeah. It's like
Pretty
being
cool.
inducted almost. I mean, that's amazing.
So I said, "Are you serious?" He goes, "We don't pay you." I said, "I don't care." "Are you serious?" He goes, "I'm totally serious."
Oh, yeah.
I go, "Send me the contract. I'm signing right now." And when I was done, I just sat on the end of my bed and I was looking straight ahead like, whoa, this is amazing.
This is really happening.
And my wife goes, "Are you okay?" She had no idea what happened. I was like, "Yeah, this is really cool."
That's great stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's a great hockey weekend for any hockey fan out there. Highly suggested. All right, get down here, hockey fans around Boston here for the USA-Canada Championship match at the Four Nations. We are at West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street. Big shout-out to Sam Adams and their wonderful cold snaps, as you see it right here in front of us, and the Sun Cruisers. Come on down, try those out. The food here is amazing. Again, I highly suggest the steak tips with the mash. Delicious. I like it medium rare. They nailed it. It's very hard these days, Pierre, to get someone to cook it really, really medium rare. They get worried about, food poison and all that. I'm like, no. I like it bloody. Give it to me. I'm an old school Irishman, and they nailed it. So thanks to the chefs here for that. Anyhow, let's get to that next question. What do we have? Anthony Boyven. Should Hagel go right after Matthew tonight?
No.
And I know everybody enjoyed it the other night, and it was a good spectacle, and it caught everyone's attention. No one's denying that. Did it help market the game? Was everyone talking about it? Was there buzz? Fox News, CNN, the NBA was talking about it. I get it. I don't think you're going to see that off the bat here today, nor should you. This is for the models, man. This is for the championship. I think you're going to see a physical, fast-paced game, but I don't expect any of that right off the get.
No shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm with you now. All right, next question. Posting that on 130. Is Gavin McKenna the clear number one for now for next year?
Yes.
But I'd say this year we don't have a clear number one yet.
Getting there.
Do you think it's Schaefer? Okay. All right, next question. Alex Evanowski, depending on how tonight goes, do you think Nathan McKinnon can come away from this tournament as the number one player in hockey over McDavid?
Well, I mean, it's how do you separate them? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
So McKinnon is faster. McKinnon's more powerful. McDavid is more forceful speed-wise.
Yep.
McDavid does stuff at a high rate of speed. Even Mary Lemieux said, "I've never seen anybody do that." But McKinnon does stuff with power that overwhelms people. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
And Forsberg was really good at that. There were a lot. Matt Sundin was really good at that. Messier was really good at that. I don't know. It depends on what you think is important.
Yeah, I'm with Pierre. I really do think it's in the eye of the beholder. I think they're both amazing. I mean, if you had we talked about the 2009 draft, right? And one of the rare times where we saw a 1 and a 2 work out great for both teams. And I honestly think, let's say that was how it went down. If they were drafted the same year and they were 1-2, it would have been the same result. And obviously, McDavid hasn't won that cup yet, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where, like, no matter what, you're getting arguably the best guy in the league. And it's all about you and your taste and your opinion of what you think.
I agree.
All right, next question. FFFF. It would be great to see Bobby Orr at the game wearing a Canada jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's here or not.
No.
Bobby's usually in Florida this time
I'll
of year,
be
right?
surprised if he's here.
Yeah. All right. But
It doesn't mean he can't.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm not going to pretend to be an insider.
Yep. We have no idea if he's here or not, and I agree. It would be awesome to see. And I think regardless, obviously, Boston fans are going to cheer him no matter what. All right, next question. Brad K., how much unofficial trade tampering went on at the Four Nations?
Coaches talking to players?
Yeah. Players talking to players, trying to recruit them.
We got a thing in the NHL called the salary cap. So you know how much most of these guys make?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't fit on your cap.
Right.
So if you're a top team, you don't have any cap room. Go look at, Puckpedia.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of cap room around the league.
No.
The Ottawa Senators are capped out.
Yeah.
They're life and death to make the playoffs. I don't know.
It's interesting. I think, of course, guys talk to each other, right? Would Nathan McKinnon love to see maybe Brad Marchand or Sidney Crosby, fellow Nova Scotians, come to his team? Of course he would. But I don't know if they call it tampering. I think it's just these guys are having fun. Oh, man, I'd love to play with you and all that. I think that it's more that way. But I'm glad you bring up the cap thing there, too, quickly, not to sidetrack, Pierre. You referenced it earlier about the prognosis for the cap and where it's going, but it doesn't all match up. I'm with you. I don't think I think a lot of fans out there and some media are thinking that teams are approaching this deadline differently after the news on the cap, that it's going up periodically for the next 3 years, and they're going to maybe go for it more because, we'll have that money down the line. I don't think that's happening. I don't think owners are going to allow that to happen, Pierre. I don't know if you agree with me.
No, this is a wait and see.
Yeah.
TBD, to be determined.
Don't get ahead of yourself here. Because you never know. What if you decide to bring on a guy that's got 6 years left at $9 million because you think, down the line I can afford that because the Caps. I don't think you're going to see that. I really don't.
I don't know how people are going to pay tickets to support that.
That's another great point. And the concessions. By the way, I am seeing now tickets are as high as $6,000 to get in the door here for this game, Pierre.
That's great.
I mean, it's awesome. It's just, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of limit. Anyhow, next question. Peter August, which players have stood out the most in this tournament and which have really disappointed?
Well, McDavid has stood out. I think Slavin and Faber have really stood out for the Americans. I think McKinnon's been really good. Crosby had one bad shift that everybody micromanaged. The turnover to Larkin. Larkin's been really good. Really good. Hellebuck's been really solid. I mean, there have been a lot of players I've been impressed with. Not too many have been really disappointed. That people are going to be mad at Konechny.
I'm hearing a lot of people down on Matthews and Marner right now.
Well, no, it's just they get adjusted. So for Matthews, I don't know if he's 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But I told you before the show started, if he doesn't play to his level tonight, I don't know if the Americans can win.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're looking to him for a big game for sure. All right, next question. Anthony Boyven, how will this tournament impact Jake Sanderson as a developing player?
Good. Very good. Played World Junior, played World Championships, played in some pretty meaningful games in Ottawa. This will help. This is another step. Jake's going to be such a good player for so long. Such a good player. Great kid. I'm just telling you, spent a lot of time in Dakota with his coach, Brad Berry. Got Tyler Clevin and him out of there. It's different times. Great players, great kids, both of them. Helps them a lot.
All right, Pierre, I hope you don't mind. I have a little vent because this is bugging me, and I meant to say it to you off air, but I'll say it out here too. Look, thankfully through Pierre, I was able to learn about Jake a lot when he was at North Dakota, and just as he came up the ranks, he's giving me scouting reports all the time, and I paid more close attention to him because of Pierre, and I really like this player. I think he's going to be a star in this league. I did not like when there was this talk about Quinn Hughes coming here. There was a lot of, and I understand it was poking fun, and it was all that, is somebody going to hit Jake Sanderson with a car by accident, or is he going to make him come down with an illness by accident, or hide him or something so he can be pulled out of the lineup and bring Quinn Hughes in? Hey, Jake Sanderson's here for a reason. He's not just some leftover thought that they took because they had to. This guy deserves to be here, and I didn't like the treatment he was getting on social media. I had to get that off my chest, and that's that. So
he's mad.
I am. Sorry, it bothered me. All right, next question. Varden's Parlor again. Is it fair to say 87 might have the best hockey IQ of all time?
Well, that's hard to say all time.
Pierre's seen a lot more hockey than me. I'll let him take this one.
I didn't see Elmer Locke playing his prime. I saw Rocket Richard, but near the end on tape, I saw Pocket Rocket Richard, Guy Lafleur, Jean Beliveau. I saw them all play. Bobby Orr, Jacques Lemaire, great players. I don't know. I didn't see Howie Morenz play. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has there ever been a player, Pierre,
Crosby's hockey sense is exquisite.
Right.
But to say it's the best of all time, I'm not prepared to answer that.
Okay. Has there been a player that stood out to you? You can think of whether you coached or you just saw play that his hockey IQ maybe compensated for other deficiencies in his game.
Ronnie Francis. Ronnie.
Yeah.
Ronnie wasn't a great skater. He's adequate. But Ronnie's hockey sense was amazing. Really good.
I love
Larry
like
Murphy. Larry Murphy was another one. Really good. Verbeek was really smart. He didn't skate great. He was a smaller guy. He was another one. Hockey sense was really good. But Ronnie was.
Am I off on this one where a guy I got to cover for a long time where I always felt this way? David Krejci?
No, hockey sense was amazing.
Yeah.
When Krejci was out draft eligible, I was over there watching. I'm like, whoa. Saw this guy play in World Under 18s.
He was so smart.
In Pilsen in the Czech Republic. It's in Česká Budějovice and Pilsen in the Czech Republic. And I was like, whoa, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because he was faster, bigger, stronger. He's just so smart. Yeah, Krejci would be really good.
All right. Yeah, I always felt that. Varden's Power is also saying Mark Stone. So-so skater, but high IQ.
No, but Mark Stone can always score and shoot the puck.
Yep.
Thank you.
Some Canadian fans saying bye to us here. Adam Oates, but I think he had a lot of skill.
His offense was crazy.
He was amazing. He had a lot of skill, but could he think? He had vision. Wow.
I never coached Adam Oates. I thought the
You had a coach against him, though.
Yeah, I did.
What was that like?
It was all right.
Yeah. All right.
Just had to put a little Ulfi Samuelson in it.
Yeah, Alfie did that a lot to players, huh? All right, next question. We're on the road. Do you know if there is a behind-the-scenes crew filming this tournament, like a documentary?
Yes.
It will be a great watch.
Yeah.
There is, and they already showed one. If you go to the NHL YouTube page, Ron, it's already up there, the first 2 episodes. I watched it last night. It was great, and I like the idea, too. I thought they did a good job of bringing it out while the tournament was still going on because it makes you want to watch tonight that much more.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Jimmy's spot on.
Next question. We got 2 more. All right. Varden's Power. Does Crosby get automatically waived in with no wait period to the Hall of Fame? Would be the 11th all time. Pierre works in the Hall of Fame, so I don't know if he's a.
Wait a second. Is Jaromir Jagr in the Hall of Fame yet?
No.
No. So let's slow down.
Yeah. I didn't want to have you answer that if you can't. That's all. I would think you would. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. It's going to happen, but that's my opinion. We'll see. All right, next question. Anthony Bovin. Sens chances of making the playoffs.
Good, I think.
I think very good. As long as
I'm not
Allmark's
saying
healthy.
very good. I'm saying good.
Okay. If they have a healthy Allmark and he's playing the way he was before he got hurt again, and this is a big if. And I know Sens fans don't want to hear that, but I do think that's a big if on his health.
I think Detroit's going to make it, so it leaves 1 spot.
Yep.
And I just worry about the Rangers. If the Rangers make a big deal and get their stuff going mojo-wise, Zibanejad had a goodwill, or whatever they call it, 4 nations.
You know something, Pierre? It's funny. When you keep bringing up the Rangers, I don't know if it's just because the way they came into the season. They were everyone's cup contender, right? And sometimes I need to be reminded that they are not currently in the playoffs. Like I just keep thinking of them automatically as a play. It's no automatic right now. So good on you saying that.
Are there enough people here?
Oh, it's packing up now. It is great.
Up. There's no other, like the fire marshal's going to come. Don't forget, downstairs is jam. That's why all these people are standing here.
Yep. We're gonna be going shortly to McLean's Public House up in Montreal, 1420 Peel Street. We're going to see what the atmosphere is like up there near the Bell Center, Pierre, compared to here. And we'll bring it in so everyone can see. And we're going to give you a shot of the crowd here before we sign off within a few here. Pierre, when you go back, we've been together now for 2 weeks, traveling on the road, seeing a lot of hockey, meeting a lot of people. What have been some of your favorite moments of our journey so far?
Montreal. Blown away by the fans in Montreal.
Really, even though you know how great they are already.
Yeah, but just the way they handled it. Snowstorms galore. People walking in the snow and the cold. I thought McLean's Public House was an amazing venue to have the event that we were at.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Stu and his staff were fantastic. those are things I take away. This has been great.
Yeah.
This has been really good in Boston.
Yeah.
Caliber of the games been really good.
I think too, just meeting fans. Meeting people that love hockey.
I've never taken that for granted.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I had a gentleman over there saying, I got a list of about 10 of your calls. And what's your favorite one? So I said, I don't know. Why didn't you tell me? And he goes, this is what he said. He said, I really liked it when you said went down like a free beer at a frat party. So I was like, yeah, that was a good one. They said, a lot of people bring up Double D on a lot. So there's a bunch, but that's what he said. I really like the free beer at a frat party line.
Does the TSN on the rights to any of those calls or no? Or NBC?
They own the McGuire Monster. I know that.
They do. Damn it.
I know they own that.
That would be, I was going to say, that would be fun to bring back.
Be working anymore.
Beautiful.
Hold on, this Mrs. Kreider.
Yeah, go say hi. All right, Pierre's got some visitors here. Oh, there's Mrs. Kreider again. The Kreider family's here. We're going to get to Kreider in a bit here because I think he plays a major role in this game. Let's take it. Well, Pierre's saying hello there. Let's take another question here. I see we have a few more. Ethan Russell. What's up, Ethan? And Ethan, by the way, you've been coming strong with the questions lately. Really appreciate it. Thanks for doing that. Ethan Russell says, thoughts on Adam Fox? I think he needs to step up big today. Ethan, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to say that earlier and I forgot. I think he is one of the big players here that needs to deliver. I think he has the capability to do it. I think this is a pivotal moment, not just for him internationally, not just for him right now in this moment, but more so if he's able to do that for the Rangers and his situation there going down the stretch, because I think he would agree with us. He has not had the season he wanted. So this is a moment for him to kind of propel him into the stretch run. Question was from Ethan Russell, Pierre. Do you think Adam Fox can step up in this moment, and how important is it for him?
He's not intimidated by this. Of course he can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Has he had a great year? No.
No. And that's what I was just saying. But if he can get this and sort of get the juices flowing.
He's moving better now.
Yeah.
He's moving better in this tournament that he has with the Rangers.
Yeah.
That was Mr. and Mrs. Kreider. They wanted to have a picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chris. That was pretty cool.
That's good. All right. We got a couple more questions here. What do we got? Renaissance Resistor saw the Rocket on Monday night. Thought Engstrom, Mayu, Farrell, surprisingly, Beck, and Davidson were much better than Waugh. What happened?
Well, sometimes your spirit gets broken. And so for a player like Joshua Waugh, you got to look in the mirror and say, why am I here? And what do I need to do to get back?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always an easy discussion to have. It's a hard one. And I think that's one of the discussions he needs to have.
Yep. All right. And I agree on all the other players as well. All right, next question. Enter tap. What position of the current U.S. and Canada rosters do you see returning to the Olympics next year?
Well, I think a lot of them. I think there'll be more fluctuation on the bottom half of both rosters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to tell you too many players, and I won't tell you who I think will come off the rosters. But I would say, like, could Connor Bedard be on this team for Canada next year? I think he can. Could Adam Fantilli be on this team next year? I think he can.
Macklin Celebrini for Canada?
Could Celebrini play for Canada? The answer is I think he can. Could Lane Hudson be on this team for USA?
Great call.
I think he can. So it's going to – listen, I know this is a dress rehearsal, but there are a lot of young guys that got a chance to play.
That are coming.
Up, I'm telling you. Like, could Ryan – I'll just say this right now. And I guarantee you that somebody in his family's watching. Could Ryan Leonard make this team next year? Yes, he could.
Yes.
He could.
Oh,
a lot will come down to what, like, after he leaves Boston College, what's he going to do in the playoffs for the Capitals?
Yep.
And I think he's going to do great.
I think he's going to have an instant impact.
Unless he gets hurt.
Yep.
I think he's going to be huge. So, again.
You pass the water when you get a chance, my friend. Oh, we got one to fill. Nice. Thank you, sir. All right, next question. Morantz, gentlemen, where would you rate this tournament so far in comparison to the previous ones? Is there anything you want to see different in the future? I think we know the answer. We beat it to death. More teams. And the injury situation be cleared up.
No, it's been a good tournament. It's been great.
I do. It's exceeded my expectations. I have no problem saying that.
The players, I'll tell you who deserves a lot of credit, the players. They went out there and laid it out there.
The buy-in.
They bought in big time.
They buy-in was
Players
great.
have been great.
Uh-oh, we got a USA chant going. Here we go. All right, listen. How many more questions we got? Because I got to get to our sponsors here, and then I'm going to give you my sick pick of the night. What do we got? Posting it on 1:30. How good was Mario's golf game, Pierre? Any stories to share?
I'll tell you one thing, his golf game's really good.
Is there anything he does bad?
I don't know. Not that I know of. His golf game's really
He
good.
seems like one of those guys. Like,
He's very good around the greens.
All right. Next question. I think that might be it. That is it. All right. Let me tell you about our sponsors. TCS Customs and Logistics. You know the deal right now. Go all the way and unlock the full potential of your shipping operation with TCS Customs and Logistics. From around the world, from around the corner to around the world, flatbeds to air freight, customs clearance to drawback consulting, TCS is a one-stop shop for all things transport. Moving pieces and delivering a peace of mind. For a no-obligation customs or freight quote, contact sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. Again, that's sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. And here we are. Let's talk some Betway right now, folks. We go all the way to Betway right now. You can still get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. It's not available in Ontario. You must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. All right. Let's go. Let's go to the sick pick of the night right now.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by Betway.
All right. So I'm going to start with my props here. I got an anytime goal pick. Two on Canada's side, one on USA. I'll start with USA. And the frequently mentioned Chris Kreider. He's going to score tonight, I think, maybe even two. But you can get him at least to be an anytime goal scorer. All he needs to do is score once, plus 400 value. So you bet $100, you win 400. Go over to the Canadian side. I'm looking at one, Brad Marchand, to score here in his home building. It's going to be a confusing situation for some of the fans here. Do they cheer or not? If they're American. But I like Brad Marchand. He's another plus 450 to score right now. And then I'm also liking one Sidney Crosby. He just has a flair for the dramatic. I think he does it tonight. I take him at an anytime goal, plus 350. But I'm also taking him at the game-winning goal at plus 550 right now. And, of course, if I'm taking Sidney Crosby to get the game-winning goal, that means Canada's going to win. And my prediction right now is you take Canada on the puck line at plus 225. I think they get an empty netter at the end. They win 4-2 here, get revenge for that first game, and they take home the Four Nations Championship here in Boston. Pierre, and I know you don't make picks, but does that sound nuts to you? At least he's honest, right? At least he's honest. But he's not going to tell us who his pick is, but that would indicate that maybe it's not so much Canada. We'll see. I think it's going to be a great game, though. Like I said, I think it comes down to an empty netter. I think it's going to be a good game, 3-2 till about a minute and a half left.
Bennington's going to have to be good at the start.
I think that's going to be the key right there. So listen, here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go live in a bit to McLean's Public House in Montreal. I'm just checking right now. I apologize as I talk here to see if Stu Ashton is ready to join us. And I'm just telling him I apologize. And we're going to give you a view of what it's like in McLean's Public House pregame up in Montreal. And then we're going to give you a view of what the crowd looks like here in Boston at West End Johnny's. And we'll see what Stu says. I'm just texting him now. He's obviously in the midst of a crowded bar.
I apologize. I've got to go take some pictures.
You got to do what you got to do, Pierre. I'm gonna entertain the crew here right now. Don't you worry.
So let me just sign off.
And what I might need you to do when you come back, though, is give the camera view of the crowd here at the end.
All right.
If you're within the area. All right, my friend.
Do a line here. Thank you to everybody. Really appreciate this. Good luck to Canada. Good luck to the United States. I'm not trying to be Switzerland here. I just think it's going to be an amazing game. Yep. I really do. I think it's going to be a great game. And
Pierre, the next time we see you, you will be at Mario's Fantasy Camp in Pittsburgh on Monday. We will have Marty Walsh, NHLPA
Thank you, sir.
Executive Director, join us here on the eye test remotely, and Pierre will be joining us from Pittsburgh. Pierre, go enjoy.
Well,
Yeah, go enjoy. Do your thing, man. The Mayor Pierre. I can't tell you guys. I mean, it's interesting coming here with Pierre, seeing all the people come up to him. It's awesome, and so many people of all different ages know who he is. It just shows you the imprint he's had on hockey. And I'm telling you, not just because I'm his friend and his co-host here on the podcast. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how he's not either in a front office right now or not on the network. I have no idea, but luckily he is. All right, let's go to Stu right now. He's going to show us what it looks like in McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street. Stu, I can't hear you. I hope you're doing well up there. How's the atmosphere?
Hey, great, man. It's great. Great atmosphere here.
Oh, you see there? We see the towers are flowing.
Yeah,
The towers are flowing near McLean's. That's what it's looking at. 1420 Peel Street. Get there. Stu, can you get a Canada chant going? I don't know if Stu can hear us. Can you get a Canada chant going?
I can do the chant. Oh, I don't think I can get it going there. I can only try, but you'll see a lot of
So
guys.
there you go. That's what it looks like. Look at all those towers of beer along the bar there. It's a great atmosphere. We were lucky to be there for 3 games last week. I highly suggest going there and check out the other McLeans as well. Stu, we can't hear you, but we love you, my man. Enjoy.
Cheers. Take care, bro.
Cheers. There goes Stu Ashton. Good luck to all the Canadian fans tonight. I'm going to pull over our good friend, Johnny Caron here. If you could come over, John, and take control of that camera, turn it around and let everybody see what West End Johnny's looks like right now. Pre-game. How are we doing, sir? This is West End Johnny's as we get ready for USA Canada. If you're in the area, come on down. We're at 138 Portland Street in Boston. It's starting to get loud in here. People are enjoying their Sam Adams cold snaps. They're enjoying the Sun Cruises and everything else they got here. I hear they pour pretty good Guinness as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Cron. It's been a pleasure here. We like this. Thank you, sir. There he goes. I will come join you in a second. We'll be doing that. Do we have any more questions, guys? We have time for a little more if you want. Jimmy's mic way too loud. I apologize, guys. No more. We're good on questions. Sweet's coming back. 1 second, guys. We might have another guest here. No, I think we're good. All right. So listen, before I sign off here, Johnny, you say Sweet's coming back or no? We might be getting Bob Sweeney, former NHLer, who runs the Boston Bruins Charity Foundation. Does an amazing job doing that. You can look it up there online. If you ever want to help out, do some events with them, Bob Sweeney is the man to contact there. Hit me up. I'll get you his deets. I don't know. Looks like we're not going to get him, though. I don't think he's going to make it in time. All right, so we want to wrap it up here. Listen, this has been, since we started here at West End Johnny's, it's almost going on 3 weeks now. Was it February 3rd? Was the first night of the Bean Pot. We're here pregame. We're here the following Monday on the Championship Monday. From Mike Ruzioni, all these guests we had. We're up in Montreal. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly joined us. Just meeting, as Pierre said, the best part was meeting all you fans, broadcasting it to you, the viewers listening. The experience has been great. So highly suggest you want to come down whenever you're in Boston, go to West End Johnny's, 138 Portland Street. Drink those Sam Adams cold snaps and the Sun Cruises. And, of course, if you're up in Montreal, drink some Jägermeister. And I'd say the best pint of Guinness in Montreal at McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street. Tell Stu we sent you. He will treat you right. And tell the staff I said hello. My favorite bar staff in North America. They're amazing up there. We want to thank everybody back in the Sick Media studio in Montreal for their amazing work, helping us out with the sound. I know my loud voice and microphone position can be a pain in the you-know-what sometimes, but they do their best, and they do a great job making me sound better. I don't know if they can make me look better, but hey, that's God's work. What are we going to do? Thanks to my co-host, Pierre McGuire. Thanks to all who have helped out over the past 3 weeks. We will be doing many more remotes, and like I said, we're going to have details soon where we will be up at the ECAC Championship Weekend in Lake Placid, New York on March, I believe it's the 20th and 21st. If not, I'll have the right dates on Monday, but we'll be going to Lake Placid for the ECAC Championship there. Looking forward to that. I've never been to Lake Placid, obviously a hockey mecca for USA hockey fans, so that'll be a great experience. Wow, I think, pretty sure Jack Eichel's brother just walked in. A lot of the USA family members are here. We've seen some great Canadian fans. Big shout out to my friends, the Battens from Windsor, who drove down and made it here. Johnny, you want to come on for the end here? Say hello.
Thanks for coming.
This is Johnny Caron, the owner here at West End Johnny's. We've had a ball, Johnny. We appreciate it. Can't say enough about your staff and the drinks, the Sam Adams Cold Snap, the Sun Cruisers, and those steak tips. You got a prediction?
4-2.
That's what I said. 4-2. Take USA. I mean, you're saying USA. I'm saying Canada. Sorry. Take Canada on the reverse puck line. Enjoy the game, everybody. This has been another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.